All right, so here's what's going on. Mortgage rates just hit their lowest point in 2025. And as a result, buyer demand is finally starting to come back, which we're going to talk about the impact that that's going to have in just a second. All right, so if we look at what's been going on, as you know, since 2024 and even before that, mortgage interest rates have continued to climb. And as a result, we've been going through this demand destruction. In other words, we're coming out of this market where we had a lot more buyers than we did homes on the market. And this is why we saw such an influx of agent income and so many agents running to get into the real estate business because money was easy. After the pandemic, from the pandemic until about 2023, it was pretty easy going. I mean, if you were in real estate, you didn't have to do a whole bunch. You stuck a sign in the front yard, your listing would have 15 offers, and you would look like an absolute rock star to your clients. Well, now we have that, but it is inverted. We are sitting in a market this for the last, call it 18 months, since the 2024 was really, really tough. We ended with about 4 million home sales, which is the lowest it's been in a long time. And now, as I'm making this video right now, we have more sellers on the market than we do buyers. We have not seen a buyer's market since coming out of the Great Recession. This is the last time you can see that. And as a result, I mean, that's why so many of you are struggling so bad. So many of you have listings that aren't selling. So many of you have listings that are just sitting on the market for months and months and months and months with no activity on them. So many of you are like, I don't want to be a listing agent. I want to go and work with buyers now. It's like, just pump the brakes. I've got some good news. I'm going to share that with you in this video. So as a result of mortgage interest rates dropping to 6.5% today, well, we see this huge increase in mortgage applications. And this is exactly what we have been waiting for. See, what's going on right now is, and even with the agents that I work with and the agents that I coach, it's like, coach, when I go and meet with the seller and I get to the listing presentation and the part where we are looking to present the supply and demand, there is no demand. Where do I put in the presentation for that? It's like, you don't put anything. That's the point. There hasn't been any demand for your listings. Thus, why you need to be so aggressive with pricing. Now, that's a separate topic. Today, we're talking about something different. So as a result of interest rates coming back down, we're starting to see mortgage applications increase, which is what we need to see if we're going to get this market back moving the way that it was. In fact, Redfin just released their touring activity. This is essentially showings. This is what's been going on literally this week. As of August 2nd, it's up 28%. In other words, people looking at your listings is increasing. You probably notice a big intake or a big influx rather this week of people that are interested in your listings. And so the question is, as rates continue to go down, how far will they go? Because based on that will determine how much more of the buyer activity we'll see. Yeah. So when we just look at some simple forecasts, well, we can say, okay, Fannie Mae and the Mortgage Banker Association and Wells Fargo all did their latest projections. And you could see Fannie Mae hit the nail on the head, 6.5% in Q3 of 2025, which is where we're sitting right now as I'm making this video. But you could see all of their different forecasts. And if we, average these all together, maybe we end up at, somewhere around 6.25% by this time next year. However, if even if that's true, and we don't see them go any further, if we don't see them, go down any more than that, and showing activity and buyer purchase applications continue to rise 18, 25, 30%. Well, as a result, and here's why, most of you should be so excited. when we look at sales, this is the biggest issue, right? Home prices have not been affected. Home prices, if anything, have gone up a couple percentage points. But the issue when we look at sales, right? When we come out of, call it 2021, this is like in 2022, this is where everyone was getting rich, right? I mean, you had, we'll call it 5.5 million home sales. Then you had 6 million home sales. Then 2023 starts to cool off, right? I forget, what is it, 5.2 million. And then 2024, sales fall off a cliff. They go to 4 million. Everyone's freaking out. Agents are leaving the business like crazy. 2025 is probably going to be maybe even a little worse than it was in 2024. We might end up at 3.8, maybe 3.9 million. However, and this is all because a result of mortgage interest rates. Well, we'll back that out. Mortgage interest rates increasing. However, what's happening right now, finally, as a result of what's going on with the recent jobs reports and the U.S. economy, is we're in this tipping point. All right. So this whole entire time, interest rates have been going up, sales have been coming down. Now it's about to invert. And right here is a major, major, major opportunity for all of you that are in the real estate sales business. Most of you watching this channel, based on the surveys, have only been licensed in this period of time. And as a result, all that when you first got licensed, you ran into the business as fast as you can because home sales were up and inventory was way down. You were in a crazy seller's market, but then interest rates just blew up, and it's been a struggle. If we're being fair, it's been a struggle for most agents for the last 18 months. However, things are finally starting to turn. So there's two types of agents right now. There are agents that are playing the victim. Oh, this is so hard, and I can't do this, and this is crazy, and they're not doing anything about it. Those agents, when this market shifts and it's happening right now, nothing will change for them. And then there's another group of agents who have been consistently prospecting, building a pipeline, building a seller lead pipeline, such that when these people, sellers that is, get off the sideline and decide that, okay, wow, the rates are coming back down, there's a lot more buyers in the marketplace, these agents, I'm hoping I'm talking to you, are going to win in a big, big way because you didn't wait around. I mean, the reality is, dependent on what the market is doing, will alter your strategy, your business plan. And so a lot of you used to be able to set a listing appointment for every maybe 10 conversations you had. Now that might be 30, 35. Well, that number will probably go back down. But some of you are like, okay, well, I'm kind of right in between. I've been building this pipeline. I'm still working with buyers. I would like to transition to working with sellers. And so for those of you that want to do that this week, as a result of this huge change in the housing market, my team and I are meeting with people one-on-one over Zoom and building out a listing-based action plan. So if you want that, I'm going to put a link in the description. You can pick a day and time that works best for you, and we'll jump on a Zoom. We'll map out the entire plan to add at least $100,000 in additional income to your income as a listing agent. For everyone else, the thing that I would urge you, I'm begging, I'm pleading with everybody, is this is not the time to let your foot off the gas. If anything, this is the time to double down. This is the time to build a database of all the people that are, they want to move. They have real motivation to move. But as a result of the market, it's just, for whatever reason, their home hasn't sold. You have an amazing opportunity right now to go out there and communicate in the marketplace with what's going on. So let me give you just a little action plan that, as a result of watching this video, that you can actually do something as a result of this news. So number one, I would email your entire database. I would sit down, maybe use ChatGPT. I would write an extremely captivating email. communicating what's going on right now in the market and the opportunity that both buyers and sellers have. And I would get that email sent out to your clients, to your past clients, to your entire database as fast as you possibly can. Number two, I would call everybody in your database who has told you, listen, you know what? I'm going to wait until rates drop before we do anything. I'm going to wait till there's more buyers in the marketplace. Okay, that's right now. Call them, pick up the phone. You see, that's probably been the biggest, not that people necessarily only move because of interest rates and home prices, but it's probably the number one, I wouldn't even call it objection. This is just the number one thing people are hearing on the phones as they're prospecting. It's like, okay, now you've got something tangible to call all those people back and actually communicate with what's going on with the marketplace right now. Number three, I would do a Facebook Live event. So I would plan this out next week. I would try to get as many people there as possible, do a live video, sort of like the one that I'm doing with you right now, and present what's happening in the marketplace. Your hook could be really simple. The hook could be, listen, the housing market just flipped here in local city, capture some people's attention. And then I would do a 30 to 45 minute live video. This is the best way to show up in your market as a trusted expert, a trusted authority in the marketplace. Be a leader, show up and do this live virtual event before your competitors have a chance to do it. And then I would make, in addition to doing a daily Instagram reel, I would do three in particular. I would do one talking about what just happened with mortgage interest rates and where we think those are headed and why that matters. Number two, talking about the increased buyer demand and mortgage purchase application. And then I would talk about the opportunities that this news has for buyers and sellers. So you've got a choice to make. You can sit on the sideline and play the victim, or you can do something about it. In fact, I just interviewed one of the agents who I'm coaching. You can watch that right here, who is increasing his income in a slow market, and not just increasing his income, but doubling his income in this market. Watch this video. He shares exactly what he's doing.